Hello there everyone, and welcome to an overview of the Otter EDC offerings for the Motorsports Rapt Lite here at the end of 2024. For those of you that are new or unaware of what the Rapt Lite is, it's a fidget slider offered by Jonas over at Motorsports that consists of a bent metal plate, an acrylic or Delrin insert depending on where you got it, and then different materials for the top here. These are in titanium. It offers a lot of customizability for different ways of play, different layouts, different sounds, and now it offers options for other makers to produce things for the Rapt Lite. So originally we got started here at Otter EDC with the Rapt Lite with these different inserts that replaced the acrylic inserts that came with it. They were offered in TPU in various colors and different layouts that I'll get into later. Some of the advantages of TPU for those that are not familiar with it, it is a flexible material that can be 3D printed. So it doesn't, you don't have to worry about it breaking. If it's dropped, if it's bent, anything like that, it's very durable, very impact resistant. It's not going to scratch other things that are in your pocket because it is softer than other things in your pocket. It's not going to scratch those, but then it's also not really going to get scratched because it just kind of bends as anything is rubbing on it. It offers a nice smooth feeling on the edges of it, and it's got a little bit of grip to it because it is kind of a rubber material. So even these flat surfaces have a little bit of grip to them that make it easy to use the slider. The other cool thing about it is it can be silent without needing dampeners. In the configurations that we make it, you can get it silent or crunchy. As you can see here, this is a silent one. So it's got just enough grip to hold the magnets in place, but the magnet can still be easily pulled out if need be. But you couldn't do this normally without this silent insert because the magnets would just pop out, hit each other, probably break, a few of them would shatter. So you can run silent fidgets without having to put foam dampeners on them to compress the magnets down into the plate. So I'm going to take you through the different offerings that we currently have in this video, and then brand new as of release of this video, some new offerings, and then at the very end, a pretty exciting announcement. First off, one of our new offerings are different colors. So originally we ran with these colors here. They're the translucent colors and a gray and the black and the white and the gold. But now we've added in solid colors that are available for choice, and a brown and a new silver color. The next new offerings are 4 different ways to use your Rapt Lite with full TPU, aside from the bent metal plate. I'm going to go into more details in these later in the video, and there's chapters below if you want to just skip ahead to the one that you want to see, but I'm just going to give a quick overview of them here. The first one is this thin one here. This follows our expanded footprint, which has by far been the most popular. So it sticks out from the corners of the bent plate just a little bit. It also sticks out from where the plate is bent up just a little bit. So you're not hitting any metal as you're using your fidget, but it doesn't really change the footprint of the Rapt Lite. This one makes it super thin though, which is fun to use. The next one is in addition to our inserts, and that's just a TPU top to replace this metal plate. It goes on the same way. It will be screwed in, and it has a nice grenade grip pattern on the top, but it's going to allow you to do some pretty cool color combinations and mix things up a little bit with your Rapt Lite. The next one matches the same footprint as our expanded insert here, again sticking out from the edges just a little bit and covering the sides. But it's full TPU, and it offers a little bit of a groove there and a groove there for your fingers. Again, that grenade pattern. Full TPU design here. So you can see here your magnets will go in there, just like on all the other ones. And the last one is a TPU Surround. So this is our wide footprint that we started offering recently. So it sticks out even further around the edges and actually covers the bent plates, the metal portions. So you're not really hitting any metal except for the bottom slider as you're sliding your thumb along the bent plate. to do the different moves. Again, this has grooves on the sides and the bottom and top, that nice grenade pattern for grip, and pretty much the full protection, the drop protection around your vent plates on the Rapt Lite. So with these new inserts, the way you change out your magnets is going to be just a little bit different. So here we have the way we would normally change our magnets. You would leave your two sides together, unscrew one side, and then you can just lift out the insert, the magnet stays in place. So if you've done that way and your magnets are in place, you can take one of our tops here and you can just set it right down over the magnets. It'll push down on them. If it's the silent version, it's going to offer a little bit of resistance. And then it's in place. Your magnets are going to be in there. They're going to stay in place if it's the silent version, just like this. So now you're probably wondering, well, what if I'm not using the silent version and the magnets don't stick together? Well, we can do it the same way. So on here, I've already got the magnets put in. And then on this side, rather than putting it plate to plate like we would normally do, I'm just going to put it back to back, because these are thin enough where the magnets will attract each other. So I can just put it back to back, hold it together, and then put my magnets in. As you can see, I can pick this up, hold it by that because they are attracted to each other. And then I would just put my top plate on, put the screw in, hold it together as I turn it around if I don't have the screw in, and then it's ready to go. And now I have my Rapt Lite TPU version ready to use. If you do have the silent version of these plates, especially if you have something like this to put your magnets together, it's really easy to put the magnets in here because the TPU grips them and they don't pop out. You can just put your magnets in, both sides. Make sure they don't try to attract to each other. And there we go. Now they're set in. And then you can just take your plate and put your plates right over, put your screws in, and you're ready to go. One other thing to cover on this, especially the silent version, is sometimes the magnets, depending on how many you have as you're pulling it out, want to stay in here. But because TPU is a flexible material, all you have to do is give it a little bit of flex as you pull the magnet out, and then they'll come right out. So if you find that your magnets are a little bit stuck, especially the medium magnets in these middle holes, just give it a little bit of flex on both sides of the hole like that, and the magnet will pull right out. All right, so let's talk about our inserts. For those of you that haven't already seen these, our inserts just sit right in here in the Rapt Lite, sits right in the plate, and then your top, once you put your magnets in, will go right in, turn it around and screw in from the bottom. This insert here is the original footprint insert, so this models the original inserts. As you can see, when you turn it around, it doesn't stick out at all from the edges. It doesn't cover up the side of the bent plate. This is going to be pretty much exactly like your original insert. You can get it in the silent mode, where the holes are small enough to hold the magnets in place, or in a crunchy mode where the holes will allow some crunch. This is the expanded footprint, pretty much exactly the same as this one, except for it sticks out just a bit from the edges here and here, and then covers the corners of the bent lip. So as you're looking down on the Rapt Lite, you're not really seeing that metal. As you're looking at it from the bottom and coming in from the edges, you're not hitting the metal either. It just covers up a few of the hot spots, provides a little bit of drop protection because then it's going to hit the TPU rather than the metal corners if you drop it. And then last, the wide body inserts. So these cover the edges around there, and then the plate actually sits in it a little bit. So it kind of sits down that way in there. Still the same height overall as any of the other inserts and the original inserts with the Rapt Lite. And so now with the TPU top, you can use this top with any of these inserts, and it sits in there just like the metal one does. There's a nut in there, so you'll put your screw in there and screw that in. The one difference with this one and the original machined inserts is the original machined inserts use a 5mm screw. This one needs a 6mm screw. If you have Jonas's 3D printed version of the Rapt Lite, it will come with the 6mm screw, but I'll be including 6mm screws with these if you buy these. So you can buy just the inserts if you still want to use your metal top. You can buy just this if you already have the inserts and you want to use this, or you can buy them as a set and have the insert and the top for your Rapt Lite plate. Alright, so this here is the full TPU Thin version. So compared to the Rapt Lite here, you can see much thinner overall. The size of this one is 46.4mm tall, 28.5mm wide, and only 10.8mm in depth here. It's the corners of this, or the edges, are chamfered, so you don't have any sharp edges. Again, it's blocked out the corners of the plates here, so you're not hitting any of those hot spots on the plate. It offers some great playability. It's flat on top because it would be thicker if there was more of a design on top, so I opted for thinness here, but that TPU still has grip to do any of the moves without having to come in at the edge. As you can see, I can just push that right up just like that. The cool thing with this one is on the translucent versions, you can pretty much see through, so you can see the magnets, you can see the nut in there. If you get a solid color, then you're not going to be able to see that, but that's up to you depending on what you want. The one thing to note on this one is the screw is a shorter screw. It's a 4mm screw, which will be included. So make sure you don't use your longer screw, because if you do and you keep screwing in, you'll push the material out some there. So, but it does need that 4mm screw so it can be as thin as possible. So that is the full TPU Thin version. So this one here is just our full TPU version. That's what we're calling it. Again, it's just full TPU on those bent metal plates. Sticks out from the corners just slightly and covers up those edges for the metal for as you're using it. It does have some contours here and here on both sides for your fingers to grab as you're doing different moves. Makes it really nice and smooth around the edges. And then it's got that grenade pattern on top for a little bit more grip than what the TPU offers. This one is 46.4mm tall, 28.5mm wide, and 14.8mm thick. There it is in comparison to a normal Rapt Lite. So it doesn't add much on the footprint this way in height or width. It is slightly thinner there, but it offers all the different ways to use it. Again, in its full TPU, you can throw it in your pocket, don't have to worry about it scratching anything. Drop it, it's going to be fine. And the translucent materials here, since it is a little bit thicker, you're not really going to see those magnets as much. You can kind of see the tip of the screw there. And then speaking of the screws on this one can use the 4mm screw that comes with the thin plates, or it can use the 5mm screw that came with the original Rapt Lite. I'll be including 5mm screws with this. If you have a 6mm screw with the Rapt Lite 3D printed version, or from one of our other versions that uses 6mm screw, don't use that on here because it will push out through the top of the material. And now this one is our full TPU Surround insert. So this is really similar to the full TPU insert, except that it adds even more material around the edges. It's going to cover over the metal plates here, add some additional protection around the corners there. It's the same thickness as the other one, so this one is 49.5mm tall, so 3mm taller, 31.3mm wide, so almost 3mm wider, and then it's the same 14.8mm. But to show you here, as you can see, it does enlarge the Rapt Lite a little bit. So for those of you with bigger hands, or those of you that really want that full TPU coverage around the side, this is your best bet. It again has the contours here, the grenade pattern. You can do all the same moves and use the Rapt Lite the same way. It just adds a little bit more size for those of you that thought this one was a little too small. This one does use the same 4 or 5 millimeter screws that the full TPU uses. 6 millimeters will punch through too much. I will include 5 millimeter screws with this one. So all the inserts I've been using in the video have been silent, just so you don't hear the sound of the crunch as I'm trying to explain the inserts. But here we go, this is the silent version. And like I said, all of these do have a crunchy version that we offer, so the spacing in the magnets is just a little bit larger. So you get that crunch if you want that. Because of the way that these inserts are made, you won't be able to use a dampener to turn a crunchy version silent. So you have to decide if you want silent or crunchy, except for the versions with inserts and a top. Those you can still use the dampeners, just like from MotorWorks, to take a silent or a crunchy version, put the dampeners on, and then it will be silent. Alright, so that's the overview of all the different offerings that we have here at the end of 2024. And now I noted at the beginning, I promised a surprise if you stuck around to the end. So that is typically the way it's worked right now is we've sold the inserts ourselves. You have to have a Rapt Lite to be able to use them. And that was going to be the plan with these too. You would already need your own Rapt Lite to be able to use them. But now we are offering full Otter EDC x MotorWorks Rapt Lights. So I'm getting the plates from Jonas over at MotorWorks and then building the Rapt Lights and being able to sell them this way. So you're gonna get his plates, his design, produced by him, bent by him, and then our inserts that are 3D printed. They'll be made to order, so you'll be able to still pick what layout you want, what color you want, what magnet layout, what style of this, and then those will be printed to order, and then the bent plates will be added in. It'll be assembled and sent to you. So we're really excited for this. It's going to be great to be able to sell full fidgets with these bent plates. It just changes the game on what we can do with 3D printed fidgets and throwing on the bent plates on the bottom. It still keeps the cost lower than a full metal slider, but you get the benefit of the metal sliding surface and the benefit of this TPU body that's going to be able to allow you to use this pretty much wherever you want. Don't worry about dropping it, throw it in your pocket with your other gear. I know I'm always worried about that. I don't put anything in a pocket with my knife or my phone because I don't want it to scratch each other. But with these, you'll be able to do that all you want. So really excited about that. They should be hitting the Etsy store soon. And you can order other tops with them if you want, so you can mix it up. But it's really exciting for us to be able to offer that. And a huge thank you to Jonas for working with us on that. All right, that concludes the video. Thanks for sticking around to the end. If you have any questions, you can always drop them in the comments below. Hit up our Otter EDC Den Facebook group that I'll link below. But other than that, I hope to see you over at the Etsy store. Pick yours out, whatever colors you want, design a cool one, and we'll get it in the mail in your way. Thanks and have a great day.